If you're a 49ers fan, this is one of those moments where you sit back and realize just how fast things can shift in your favor. What we just watched didn't look like it had anything to do with San Francisco at first, but by the end of the night, it absolutely did. The Seahawks winning actually opened the door wide for the 49ers, and now this team controls its own destiny in a way that feels very real, not theoretical. That's the part that should get you fired up. There's no scoreboard watching, no praying for chaos across the conference. If the 49ers take care of their business, the number 1 seed is right there for the taking, and that changes everything. Think about how different this feels compared to earlier in the season. Back then, the conversation was about surviving the division, staying healthy, and keeping pace. Now, it's about leverage. It's about positioning. It's about the kind of advantage that only comes when you've already done the hard work. The Seahawks' result didn't magically fix anything for the 49ers, but it rewarded what they've already earned. That's what makes this moment so satisfying. This team put itself in a position where outside games can actually help instead of hurt, and that's not something you see every year. What really stands out is how clean the path is. There's no complicated math here. Win out, and you're sitting at the top. Home field advantage, a bye week, control over the road to the Super Bowl. When was the last time it felt this straightforward, this late in the season? And yeah, nothing is guaranteed, but opportunity like this doesn't come around often. This is the kind of stretch that defines seasons and legacies, and you can feel that energy building right now. I want to know where your head is at, honestly. Do you believe the 49ers can finish the job and lock up the number 1 seed? Yes or no? Drop that in the comments because the confidence level of this fan base right now is fascinating. And if you're locked in for this playoff push, make sure you're subscribed and notifications are on. We're pushing hard toward 1,000 subscribers, and this is the most important stretch of the season to be part of the conversation. Also, tap the like button if this news has you feeling a little lighter tonight. Now here's the other part that makes this even better. It wasn't just about the standings. Watching that Seahawks game told us a lot about who they are right now, and that's where things get even more interesting as we look ahead to what's coming next. Reply with C when you're ready to keep going. C, watching the Seahawks in that game didn't just help the 49ers in the standings. It gave us a really clear look at what this team actually is right now. And the more you watch, the more you start to feel confident about this matchup. This wasn't some fluky performance. We've seen this version of Seattle before, and the issues keep showing up in the same places. Turnovers, inconsistency at quarterback, and an offense that can completely stall when things don't go perfectly. That's good news if you're a 49ers fan. Sam Darnold struggling wasn't surprising, and that's important to say out loud. We saw this exact thing a few weeks ago, and it showed up again. When pressure gets home, when the game speeds up, mistakes happen. That's not a small detail. That's the kind of thing that decides division games and playoff games. The Seahawks do have fight, and they do have a defense that can make things uncomfortable, but they're not some unstoppable force. They're a team you can prepare for and attack if you stay disciplined. This is where the coaching angle matters so much. Kyle Shanahan knows this staff. He knows how this defense wants to play. He knows where the stress points are, and that familiarity is a real edge. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it absolutely shortens the gap. When you're talking about late-season football and potential rematches, that kind of knowledge becomes incredibly valuable. You're not guessing. You're reacting. At the same time, it's worth being honest. The Seahawks didn't roll over. They kept fighting, and that tells you this won't be an easy game. But beatable doesn't mean soft. It means if the 49ers play their brand of football, protect the ball, and let the defense do what it does best, this is a matchup they should feel good about. And feeling good matters right now, because confidence compounds late in the season. Let me ask you this. On a scale from 1 to 10, how confident are you in the 49ers against the Seahawks right now? Drop that number in the comments. I'm really curious where everyone's at after watching that game. And if this breakdown is helping you see the bigger picture, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Every new subscriber gets us closer to that 1,000 mark, and we're covering every step of this playoff push together. Because here's the thing, as good as Seattle and the Rams are, the bigger story might actually be the division itself, and how insane it is that the 49ers are thriving right in the middle of it. When you zoom out and look at the NFC West as a whole, it honestly makes what the 49ers are doing right now even more impressive. This isn't a weak division where wins come easy. On an efficiency level, you're talking about historically strong offenses sharing the same space at the same time. The Seahawks and the Rams are putting up numbers that put them in rare company, the kind of company that usually ends seasons with deep playoff runs or Super Bowl appearances. That's the context that matters here. And now look at where the 49ers sit inside all of that. Double-digit wins, division victories, road wins against those same teams everyone is hyping up. This team didn't just survive the NFC West, it asserted itself in it. That's not something you can hand-wave away or chalk up to luck. That's preparation, coaching, and execution stacking up week after week. Even when the margin felt thin, the results kept coming. What really stands out is how businesslike this team has been in tough environments. Traveling to hostile stadiums, dealing with elite offenses, adjusting on the fly, and still finding ways to win. Those are the kinds of experiences that pay dividends in January. You can see it in the way the team plays. There's patience, there's confidence, there's a sense that they know exactly who they are and what they want to do, no matter who's on the other sideline. I think that's why this moment feels different. The 49ers aren't chasing anyone. They're setting the pace. And doing that in a division this strong sends a message to the rest of the conference. If you can win here, you can win anywhere. That mindset matters as the postseason picture starts to come into focus. I want to hear your take on this. Is this the toughest division the 49ers have had to navigate in recent memory? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. And if you're enjoying this kind of big picture breakdown, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and this is the stretch where being locked in really pays off. Now, as impressive as the division has been, there's one team in particular that deserves a closer look, because on the surface they look terrifying. But when you dig in, there are some real cracks showing. Reply with C when you're ready to keep going. The Rams are the perfect example of a team that looks scarier from a distance than they do when you actually sit down and watch every snap. On paper, the numbers are ridiculous. Elite offense, strong defense, and a reputation that still carries weight around the league. But once you peel back the layers, there are clear areas where they're vulnerable, and that should matter a lot to the 49ers if this turns into a postseason conversation. Let's start with the obvious. The offense is legit. Matthew Stafford can still spin it, and Puka Nacua is one of those players who just seems to be open no matter what you do. You're not stopping that unit completely. That's not realistic. But what you can do is force them into mistakes, and we're starting to see those mistakes show up more often. Dropped passes, missed opportunities, drives that stall out when they should be putting points on the board. That's how good teams stay within striking distance against elite offenses. And then there's the special teams, which honestly might be the quietest confidence booster of all for the 49ers. It's rough. Missed field goals, muffed returns, breakdowns that completely flip momentum. Those are the kinds of errors that don't just hurt you in the regular season, they absolutely kill you in playoff games. Watching that unit struggle makes you feel a lot better about discipline and execution, because those little details become massive when margins are thin. Defensively, the Rams have been good, but not untouchable. Injuries in the secondary are starting to show, and teams are finding more success through the air than earlier in the season. That matters if you're looking at potential matchups, because familiarity changes everything. Division games are different. You know the tendencies, you know the weaknesses, and if there's one coach who thrives in that environment, it's Kyle Shanahan. That familiarity cuts both ways, but it often favors the team that's more adaptable, and that's where the 49ers have an edge. Let me ask you this. If the 49ers had to face the Rams again in the playoffs, would you feel confident in that matchup, yes or no? Drop it in the comments, because that answer says a lot about how you view this team right now. And if you're enjoying these breakdowns, make sure you like the video and subscribe. We're closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and every bit of support helps us keep covering this run the right way. Because as good as all of this sounds, none of it matters if the 49ers don't handle what's directly in front of them. The opportunity is there, but the work isn't done yet. And that's where the focus has to be next. This is the part where excitement meets reality. And honestly, that's a good thing. Everything we've talked about only matters if the 49ers take care of business. The path is clear, but it's not easy. There's no skipping steps, no coasting, no assuming anything. You've got to line up and win football games, starting with the one right in front of you. That's how you turn opportunity into advantage. When you look at what's left on the schedule, it's tough, but it's manageable. These are games the 49ers are capable of winning if they play their style of football. Protect the ball. Control the line of scrimmage. Let the defense hunt. If they do that, things start to fall into place fast. And the reward for handling business is massive. We're talking about a bye week, home field advantage, and potentially not having to travel again for a very long time. That's not hype. That's reality if the job gets done. Just imagine how wild that would be. One more road trip, then everything else coming through home turf. Playoff games at home. Energy on your side. Rest when everyone else is grinding. That's how championship runs are built. You can feel it lining up, but it's fragile. Every snap matters from here on out, and that's why this stretch is so exciting to watch. I want to hear from you one more time. Which remaining game worries you the most, if any? Drop it in the comments, and let's see where everyone's head is at heading into this final stretch. And if you've stuck with me through this breakdown, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Help us hit that goal of 1,000 subscribers so we can keep covering this run every step of the way. This team is peaking at the right time, and you can feel something special building. Now, it's about finishing the story the right way. Let me know how you're feeling, and I'll see you in the next one. Before we wrap up, let me know how you'd like this delivered.